So a really, really common complaint is that people struggle so much with creating fans. It is so difficult until you get the hang of it properly. It's so difficult. So don't be disheartened that it doesn't come naturally or if it doesn't come quickly. It's really, really, really difficult. You're dealing with little hairs that are 0.07 right down to 0.03 of a millimeter. They're crazy, crazy thin. So don't worry, it's practice. This whole thing is practice. So I'm just going to go through how to create wide fans, narrow fans, and a closed fan. And I'm going to slow it right down so that you can see it all properly. So the first thing that's really, really good to do is get a little mascara wand and just give them a little brush through, and that will just separate anything, the tops that may have got stuck together through the manufacturing process. So give them a little stick. If they get stuck to that sticky strip, just run your tweezers behind them and it will just pick them up. So a little brush, brushy brush. Okay, so this is my technique. This is the roll technique. I think that's what they consider this, the roll technique. So I'm going to go in. We're going to do a wide fan to start with. This is the Evo boot tweezer as well, if you're wondering. Still available on my website. You can join the waiting list there. I'll put a link down below. So we're going to come in between the lashes. This is a 0.07, so the max I really want to be picking up is like 5 or 6. We're going to clamp it so you can see it doesn't move. I'm not bending it forward, it's not bending back. The minute I clamp it, so thumb, 2 fingers, and I've got all 4, well, I've got 3 fingers on there, and I'm going to my ring finger. So thumb to ring finger, that's where the pressure's going. And I'm about halfway up that lash. And I've got it. Give it a second, make sure you've got it. Peel it back towards yourself. So I'm about halfway up that lash. We're going to stick it back down on the sticky strip. And just pat that base down. Just make sure it's on there. Now, with the tweezer, the very tip, I'm going to turn it in. You see that? And up slightly, so that that very tip of that tweezer is going to hit the middle of that fan. And I'm going to pull it to the right and watch them start to open. And I'm back to the middle, push it to the left. And now I want to separate these two. So I'm going to go back into the middle, pull it back again, and I'm going to go back and pull it and just keep pulling them so that I watch each part of the fan moving individually. Don't look at the base, we're looking at the tops moving so that we know what each micro movement's doing. Where are we in that fan? So I'm in the middle there, I go to the next bit, and then the end one, I go back to the middle, and I've got these two now. It's micro movements, and you literally can barely see my hand moving. So the tiniest little movements. So we're always coming back into the middle of that fan and just giving it a little wriggle about. Rolling them side to side, backwards and forwards, left to right. And that's quite pretty, that one, that's nice. So we're going to come again between. The pressure's going to that ring finger again, and I'm going to clamp. And I'm not going to see that fan move. I'm not bending it forwards or backwards again. And make sure you've got it. You can see the pressure in my thumb, my thumbnail, how much pressure I'm putting, so that I've got that fan. It's not going to fall apart on me when I peel it back. And I'm going to peel it back towards me again, up sort of towards my face. And there we go. Nice. So I'm going to take my fan, and literally the very, very, very tip, 1 millimeter in and to the very center of this glue, because this glue is curing from the outside in. So we want to go bang into the center. So the tiniest amount. And it sucks it up. And you can release the tension just slightly and it will just go up that fan. Then make sure, depending on how quick drying your glue is, just give it a second. There we go. So that's a wide fan. So a narrow fan, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come between the lashes, peel back, place back down, tap it, make sure it's on there, and turn that tweezer in directly down so that that tip of that tweezer goes to the very center. And we're going to do the same movements. Just start tapping it and see what's happening. So tiny, tiny micro movements. And this is a narrow fan, so we don't want to bring it out too much. So we're literally just tapping it, pulling them and rolling them. So that's quite nice. Come between, again, I'm about halfway up that lash. The pressure goes to the fingers from the thumb. I've clamped it, I've got it, I'm happy. Peel it back towards me. In the centre of that glue. Now that's actually considered a bit of a twisted base, but they go on fine because they will wrap around. That's like guaranteed wrap around. And that's a nice narrow fan. So now I'm going to demonstrate a closed fan. So again, the same, I'm going to come between the lashes, I sort of hook them with the back part of the boot. Clamp them, pull them back towards me, back on the sticky strip. Now with a closed fan, this is what it wants to look like, but we still need to try and achieve some sort of wraparound, that we're not just getting it sticking to the top of the lash. So we're just going to tap it, just to release the top and the bottom. And if they come apart, you can push them back in. But just by doing that, we've just released anything that was stuck together. And we're going to pick it back up, peel it back towards us. And again, so you'll see that little bit that's come off at the right hand side there, it will just suck together in the glue. So I release the tension to allow that glue to go up the fan. Wipe off any excess there. You never wipe off your excess on a pad because they've got cotton lints in them. And there's our closed fan. So there we go. On the left hand side there, we've got a closed fan, narrow fan and a wide fan.